Hi there, welcome to another video. That is just the sexiest thing ever. My son and I finished this 16-foot cedar canoe years ago during the COVID lockdown, and I take it out in the water whenever I can. Then, a couple of weekends ago, we were cruising through our local sporting goods store when we spotted a unique paddle design by Bending Branches. He asked me if I thought I could design something similar. What he really meant was, can you make one for me? I figured it was the least I could do for all his help on the original canoe build, so I took a photo of the in-store paddle, but I didn't have any specifications to work with, and for legal reasons, I don't want to copy or infringe on any patents that might exist on this paddle. But I've had pretty good luck figuring out design challenges like this on my own, so let's do it. I knew that in order to make all the curves that I'd need for the shaft, that this would have to be a series of thinly cut laminated layers of something lightweight, and I would need some sort of a bending form to wrap my bent wood strips around. I had some 1/2-inch plywood in stock, so 3 glued up layers would give me the thickness and stability I'd need, and with some strategically placed holes, I could use some 1 3/8-inch dowels to serve as the bending blocks. My current 54-inch paddle seems a little too long for my son and I given our relative heights and arm lengths, so I started with a 50-inch target from blade to handle. I'll need to factor in some extra wood material to accommodate the curves. Looking at pictures of the store's paddle, it looked like the design was broken down into thirds. A third of the distance down from the top of the handle was the middle of the curved handhold, and a third of the length from the opposite end made up the length of the blade. With these rough measurements, I laid out the dowel positions, knowing that I'd have to accommodate 1 1/4 or 31.5 millimeters of thickness for the shaft. Then I was off to drilling some holes and hammering in some dowels, and then cutting some thin strips of chosen wood for the shaft. I waffled a bit on how condensed to make this video, and that was me again bowing to the YouTube algorithm in the hopes for more views. But this was a complex design, so I thought I'd show the whole process in detail. For those who might want to give this little project a try, you can see how I did it. I'll drop some comments in along the way, but otherwise you'll see the whole design and build as we go. Stick around to the end for a pretty awesome reveal and some actual testing out on the water. Before any canoe aficionados start to get snooty about my wood selections, and because I don't have a local source for basswood, I've chosen some lightweight clear radiata pine for my laminated shaft layers. Pine, like any lightweight wood, is prone to rot if it gets wet, but still works pretty well as a paddle if you seal it, and I'll be using some marine grade epoxy followed by some Total Boat varnish to finish the paddle. My strips cut pretty well on the bandsaw to minimize kerf loss, and they finished out about 1/16 of an inch thick, or 1.5 millimeters. To match my other homemade paddle design, the shaft will be 1 inch wide and 1.5 inches thick after the total glue up. I also threw in a couple of leftover strips of white ash to my stack, just, because I had it. After some sanding, that same marine grade epoxy used for my canoe was also used to bond all the strips together. Since this epoxy has a really long working time, I was able to maneuver and bend the strips around the form without any of the layers sticking together. A problem that I've had with wood glue if you take too long to finish making your bends. While the epoxy set, I wanted to design a new wider blade profile for this project and push more water with each stroke. My older paddles had the same beaver tail design but were only 7.5 inches wide. I want to push this paddle width out to 9 inches by 18 inches long. I've also got a secret weapon for symmetrical paddle curves picked up from a local fabric store. This template is used by tailors to draw out patterns for long sleeve shirts and suits. And it's awesome actually for the French curve that I need for this paddle. To add even some more wooden bling to the blade, I've got some leftover cuts of cherry and walnut from previous projects, and they look to be just wide enough for the paddle design. These will all have to be glued and assembled in separate steps. Before attempting to epoxy the two blade pieces to the shaft, I'm going to cut in a couple of notches in the waist area of each glue-up in order to provide a flat surface for clamping. If you watch, I'm being as careful as I can be to not cut into the pencil outline of the actual blade dimensions and ruin this whole piece. I hate screwing up when working with expensive wood like this. The epoxy used for attachment of the blade to the shaft is going to be a faster reacting epoxy. I need to do one side at a time, so a relatively quick bond to one side allows me to attach the other side of the blade and then clamp the whole monstrosity together. I know it doesn't look like a paddle yet, but you know, give an old guy a chance.
This is glue. Strong stuff.
Waiting yet another day for this epoxy setup to cure, I could finally get down to shaping the blade to the paddle. I preferred to make these pencil line cuts on the bandsaw, but the length of the shaft prevented me from making all the turns that I needed to finish the blade. A jigsaw wound up working just as well. For the handle, I'm going to use my original paddle handle as a template against a nice scrap piece of white ash, and then get that cut out on the bandsaw. After trimming the shaft to the final paddle length, I still needed to do a little sanding to get the handle cut out to fit tightly against the shaft, but it actually looks pretty beefy once I got it fitted. More epoxy was needed and more wait time was required before I could shape and sand the handle, but I had all the hard work waiting for me on the blade end of the paddle. The whole shaping process took me multiple hours, swapping between power tools and hand tools to reduce the thickness of the blade evenly on both sides. Your hands are your best guide to feel and tweak the shape until it looks thin enough and smooth enough for a finished blade. In the end, my blade thickness came in right around 1/4 inch or just over 6 millimeters. With the rough shaping done on the blade, I jumped to the other end to begin smoothing out the handle attachment to the shaft. I also wanted to save me some hand shaping time by using a router and a roundover bit on the shaft, and that gives me a smooth outer edge and helps to show off the side view of the laminated wood strips, also showing off the walnut highlights on top and bottom of the shaft. The rounded end of my belt sander seems to be the best tool for carving out a recessed hand grip on the handle. It scoops out material pretty quickly and provided me a comfortable overall grip. With all the major shaping activities complete, I sanded the whole paddle down to a finished piece with 220 grit paper and followed with an acetone wipe down. It was time to get serious with hardening and waterproofing the blade and shaft. I chose to use some lightweight 3/4 ounce fiberglass cloth to help wrap the blade and hopefully harden the bottom edges of the paddle. In retrospect, I thought the 3/4 ounce material was a little bit too lightweight, so I doubled up the cloth strip on the outer edge, adding a single layer of cloth on the front and back. Finally, rolling out the marine epoxy bubbles still left me with a surface that wasn't all that smooth, but I knew it was going to need some light sanding before the finished coats of epoxy. Everything was sanded and smooth, so a tight bristle brush worked really well to help get me a smooth finish on the shaft and the blade, and I began to look forward to testing this experimental paddle out on the water in the next couple of days. Aside from the paddle looking pretty strange and somehow amazing at the same time, it does feel a little weird in the hand after decades of using regular straight-shafted paddles. It took a little getting used to as the angle of attack from the blade plunging into the water is more straight up and down than a standard paddle, but with the swept back angle of the blade, it seems that you get more of a consistent push as you finish the backside of each stroke. I can tell that the wider blade is grabbing more water as I go, which increases forward momentum, and I like the curved lower handle grab because it allows me to adjust my arm and wrist angles to a more comfortable position. Shifting the paddle position from right to left hand seems to be about the same feel as with a straight shaft, though because of the curved shaft, turning the paddle sideways into a steering position means that the shaft needed to be held further away from the hull. That wasn't a deal breaker, just another small change in the paddle's usage. Obviously, I don't have technical performance data here, but I'm impressed at how the general change in paddle design feels. It weighs out at 33 ounces, which is just a hair heavier than a commercial straight paddle, but that can be explained by the extra lumber needed for the curve and the fact that I used cherry and walnut hardwoods in the final design. It will take some getting used to, but I think my son will like the performance and definitely the way it looks too. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. We don't ask for donations or memberships, so your thumbs up and a subscription really help our channel grow. Take care.